This is Science Literacy, the International Edition. Dun 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 dun! To learn more about international perspectives of scientific literacy, I interviewed expert science educator Professor Deborah Corrigan at Monash University in Australia. From her university biography, I learned that one of Professor Corrigan's main goals as an educator was engaging students' hearts and minds. That was reinforced in our interview as she explained science literacy from her perspective. She thinks of scientific literacy much more as a mindset, and therefore about the application or actual functionality and processes of scientific thinking, rather than the concepts of science themselves. Across Australia, she's known for her lesson on the chemistry of a chocolate cake. This lecture is rooted in her constructivist views, and it relies on students looking for science in their everyday activities. This time, they're looking for them at a grocery store. Throughout the process of baking a cake, she uses the students' current understandings of science to apply it to something that is real in their lives. We may choose different types of ingredients because of their properties. Would there be reasons to choose oil or butter? Why would you choose refined sugar over raw sugar in the batter? She asks questions that students can later identify as scientific or pedagogical. Someone always counts to see how many different questions Professor Corrigan can ask within the lecture. Her high score is over 300 questions within about an hour-long block. She believes that creativity and critical thinking are necessary competencies to have for scientific literacy to flourish in students. To achieve these skills, curriculum may need to be rebalanced and more holistic in its approach. Often, math and reading are quarantined or siloed away from other subjects like science. Growing up on a farm, she sees the importance of science literacy as functionality to do your everyday tasks. She advocates for this science for all idea, as she sees science as culturally embedded in students' lives. One does not have to grow up to be a scientist to do science. From her background, one of her interests was seeing which students engaged with science. She found that rural girls were more likely to engage with physics, for instance, than urban girls because they could see the importance of physics from working on the farm. We also discussed what she thought of her role as an educator of teachers of science. Evident from the chocolate cake, Professor Corrigan values questioning and learning how to form different types of questions. Additionally, she values the metacognition that comes along with reflecting on the pre-service teacher's own learning. I hope that you've enjoyed learning a bit more about what scientific literacy is from the view of Australian educator of teachers of science, Deborah Corrigan, and her chocolate cake.